2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome to Teaching Crypto, a very important edition with AZcrypto and MrFOMO. Good morning, everybody. We've got two huge stories today, one Voyager and one Bitcoin that, again, a lot of people are overlooking, and we're here for you guys. So please hit that subscribe, hit that like button, bell notification, share, do everything you can to help us grow to 2,000 subs. We would really appreciate it. We'll start with Voyager first, MrFOMO, because a lot of our viewers are former Voyager customers, and we need to get them in the know here. Obviously, just under 48 hours ago, the app did close, MrFOMO. And if you go to the site, here's the official update. It says sometime in September, they will be updating the website, investvoyager.com, with the following information. Ability to stay informed regarding the status of the bankruptcy with periodic updates, whatever periodic means. We'll have to see what that means. Access to your individual claim and initial recovery information. That should be easy to put up. Now, information on how to access your transaction history and obtain reports at the end of the year. Notice they left off the word tax. I don't think this is by accident here. Again, I try to reach admin, and they have not responded. Now this is time number 2. Not good at all. I'll try again later. But MrFOMO, this doesn't leave me very optimistic. I would like to see a date, September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd, something more concrete here to make the customers feel better.
Yeah, I would like to see some more specifics as far as when they'll be updating, how they'll be updating, what they'll be updating with. They haven't really kept us informed through this process at all. We've depended on our own research and, making our own phone calls and doing our own digging. And so I don't have a lot of confidence that this website will be updated daily, weekly, or maybe even monthly. Periodically allows them to just update it whenever they feel like it.
But you do have the right as a customer to demand your transaction history legally. I just want to make sure people understand that. So we want to go through what is
and they
next.
said that
What's
they
next?
said that they would provide that, and they said they also would provide some tax documents. So it does seem that they are doing a 180 maybe on the tax documents, but they did say that they would be providing those things through the Voyager website. So we'll have to take them at their
So I
word
want to go.
so far.
Yeah, I want to go through next steps with our viewers. So here's the big question. When is the next big date? Well, it's going to be in September. I don't have an exact date. I've been hearing second week of September, the mediation between Alameda, FTX, and Voyager will start. Now, that is a strict 30-day period. So let's say that starts September 10th. That would then have to be concluded October 10th. We will not get any updates during the mediation until there is a resolution or it does not work. So basically, MrFOMO, we should know the exact date soon. Hopefully, I'll keep digging.
And then
the 30-day will start.
It's going to require digging again. It's one of those things where they're not going to be upfront about it. You're going to have to depend on your own research or channels like us to bring that research to you.
Well, come here. Don't go anywhere else. Now, once that 30 days starts, okay, let's say there is a resolution, we will then be notified, and then there'll be next steps for payments, and that will be through the mail. So just make sure everyone understands that. I know some people I've heard, MrFOMO, are still waiting for their allotment back who didn't take out their crypto. So hopefully you guys get that back soon. I'm hearing sometime in September they should have all that finished.
I was actually surprised. Some of the comments on our videos, people had said that they had been out of the loop for the past year and hadn't known what was going on. They just sort of shut themselves down and didn't pay any attention to it. And so there are still a lot of people out there who I'd seem to be uninformed of what's going on, and they're probably going to be pretty surprised when they get that portion back in the mail.
35%.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
okay. So the thing to remember is you could get, well north of 20% back if things go amazingly well in this mediation. Now, let's say mediation does not work, and we will know by early October to mid-October. I don't have the exact date. At that point, there will be a trial set for this to go to court sometime in 2024. The problem is that money then that's been withheld, the well over $400 million, okay, north of 440, that then goes to the Delaware court where Alameda FTX is situated, and you're looking at as a resolution probably sometime in 2024. I can't tell you when. So that is the danger here that we're looking at. I just want to make sure everyone is aware. The next month to a month and a half is critical, because if mediation does not work, you might not get a distribution back. You probably will not get one back in 2023, but you might not get one back for well over 12 months. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but that we're just trying to
But
be real.
also remember, every time we talk about these things with crypto exchanges and crypto banks, we're always talking about an extended timeline. Other banks get cleaned up, FDIC banks or American banks, US banks, the ones that have been in trouble recently, they get cleaned up within months. Everything in crypto takes longer, at least 3 times longer. And as we saw with this with the first leg of this Voyager thing, it took over a year. And so I don't anticipate any more distributions probably until 2025.
I hope mediation works. We'll keep you guys updated step by step, but we're not going to lie to you and say it has a great chance of working. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now, huge Bitcoin news could come in the next 24 hours. And no, I'm not making this up. And this is not being reported enough because, yes, Bitcoin did go below 29. We're sitting at 28.5. And so the news has been very bearish. However, there is a ruling expected by tomorrow, Mr. FOMO, between Grayscale and the SEC. And that is whether Bitcoin ETFs should be legal or not. Because people forget, basically Grayscale sued the SEC when they were denied a Bitcoin ETF. And that decision is set to come tomorrow. Now, if you remember what happened with XRP, it kind of took people by surprise. There was a random tweet and you didn't really know the exact details. And then it became apparent. And then all of a sudden, XRP just shot up. We were at 49 cents. And within hours, we were north of 90 cents. So tomorrow, I mean, what I tweeted also was this, Mr. FOMO. And here's my kind of theory on this. Could this be the last dump before the pump? You know what I mean? Like manipulators trying to scare people because they might think there is a possibility. I don't care what you think. There is a possibility that Grayscale prevails, because here's the thing. This is not something the SEC can control. They can do delays. They can say no's, but what they can't control is a court ruling. And you saw that with XRP. So if this is correct, and a lot of people are assuming the decision is coming tomorrow, I think if not tomorrow, you're looking very early next week. But the experts are saying probably you're going to get a ruling tomorrow. And if Grayscale succeeds, that is a catalyst.
So I do agree that this should go through, and when the decision does come through, I fully anticipate Grayscale to win. The SEC has admitted that there's no reason not to allow there's no reason not to allow an ETF. The asset is of sufficient size, and the ETF market is regulated, and so there's really no reason to deny consumers this opportunity. But you and I disagree on whether or not this will pump the market. And I do think it will pump the market in short term. I just don't think it will be the catalyst that drives us, through the roof. I think that, and we didn't get a chance to talk about this earlier in the week, but Europe launched their own ETF and it made almost no noise in the market, if any.
Well, but we had known, in all fairness, though, I'm going to interrupt you. I know I apologize to the viewers that don't like this, but we had known for a long time that this was approved. So the approval was not news. The implementation was, And so I'll give you the floor again. Go ahead.
Well, the approval happened in October, and there was no real significant pump that happened for the approval. And I know that some people are going to say it's Europe, but Europe is pretty big. We're talking about a lot of countries and a lot of money in there. You're also talking about a part of that continent being in war. However, it's not the whole continent. And we're not just talking about Liechtenstein, and we're not talking about, North Korea launching a UTF. We're talking about the entire European continent has access to an ETF right now, and it hasn't exploded the market. And so I think this at least puts a hole in the thesis that an ETF will explode the market. Now, I know you're going to say that American ETF is different than a European ETF, and I will agree that they are different, but I don't see this being an explosive catalyst, at least not at this point. I think if it happened a little bit later, more into the bull run, then we would see an explosion. I think what you're going to see is, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of stuff. And then we're going to, we're still going to see the same type of volatility and the same type of sideways action for a while.
No one's buying anything right now.
10,000% wrong, because I own some Bitcoin, so it's not like I'm rooting against Bitcoin. I just don't see this being the catalyst that everyone else sees it being, especially now that Europe launched an ETF earlier this week and it didn't push Bitcoin at all.
Well, again, my theory has always been this month we're going to see 34K. And so far, I look like an idiot. It's August 17th, and we haven't even held 30. But I think this would be the catalyst
is like
tomorrow.
predicting Florida weather. It's a tough job.
But I don't think 29K is going to be much resistance. I think you can get back to 30 pretty quickly within a day. And from there, I really could see. And again, I've always held that 40K is kind of the direction for this year. I'm not saying the ETF is going to push Bitcoin to 100K overnight. Absolutely not. That's just not going to happen. Market cap's too big, and we're just not ready for that type of move. But I do think 30 to 40K within the next 4 months is really, really realistic. Mr. Slim, I'm going to do an episode on when next to buy Litecoin, because there's actually two great times. One in 2024 that you could buy Litecoin and probably do really well. Because the reality is Litecoin, you could have written that from 40 to 100 in a few months, right? Like when I did my video, we were in the high 60s and we got to 114. So that was a great entry. The problem was, and then I double dipped. The third dip, well, I mean, it almost worked. They made a run again to 100. But by the time people were catching on, it was just too late. You can't. What I said in my original short was, if you wait till July and August, it was going to be too late, and that actually turned out to be 100% true.
And I want to touch on something he said here. It opens up the market for more money. The Bitcoin ETF is what he's talking about in this next. Let me put it up on the screen. It opens up the market for more money, but more money will pour into the ETF, into that regulated market, rather than into the Bitcoin market. The people who are scared to enter the market are scared because of a lack of regulation, lack of safety, lack of insurance. And so this gives them that option, but this doesn't require them to buy Bitcoin. And so I just really.
But what you're missing, and I think you've missed this, then the institutions like Fidelity have to drastically increase their exposure to Bitcoin. And they have to have more.
They already have it.
They can't just be paper IOUs.
They wouldn't offer this. They wouldn't offer these things if they weren't going to be in massive profits. Like they don't offer them when they just bought them, right? Like they're not waiting for you to come in and say, "Hey, I want access to this Bitcoin ETF to buy it." They've had it for ages, and now they're offering it because they've got a huge advantage.
But the person that sees the ETF on Fidelity will also then see, oh, I can also get Ether and Bitcoin directly as well. Why don't I do a bit of both?
It's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a stretch.
And I don't think so. I've talked to people that have been using Fidelity now to buy their Bitcoin and ETH. I know for some crypto people that makes them cringe, but we're talking about some traditional people now that this is easy exposure to them because they already have the Fidelity app for their stocks, right? Now, it's kind of like the young generation with Robinhood when people 4 years ago first got into crypto using Robinhood with Doge and Bitcoin. Now, really quickly before we go off the air, Coinbase now in the US has been given the green light to offer future contracts of Bitcoin and ETH. Now, this could be big. We have to see how Bitcoin sets this up. Before I jump up and down and start celebrating, I want to see what type of future contracts Coinbase sets up. Okay. Because that's going to be important.
Go ahead. Yeah, I just the futures market, I think, is the major manipulation in Bitcoin. So I think this is going to cause more volatility than it is going to help. And you're opening the futures market to a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. And so that is my worry, is that you're going to have a lot of people who now have this sort of instant access to futures markets, but they don't really have the experience, I'll say, to function within that futures market or within the the crypto market. And so Coinbase being sort of like your doorstep into crypto, it makes me nervous that people will, in a free country, you can't really deny that, but it just makes me nervous that people will now have the futures market sort of gamified for them, and they'll be able to access that and do whatever they want with it. And I think we're going to see more people lose, and we're going to see more volatility because of it.
I think it's bullish if Coinbase executes. Now, tomorrow, if we get a decision, we will definitely go live. Watch out for some shorts, some new videos from Mr. FOMO, guys. We're just getting started. Please hit that like, please hit that subscribe button, and we will see you later. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. You guys have a wonderful day. Take it easy.